Well, following the launch of the Defend Our Democracy campaign last week, representatives from various civil society organisations have now gathered at the Flame of Democracy at Constitution Hill, that's in Braamfontein. This afternoon they say they'll form a human chain to reiterate their cause to defend the Constitution, the rule of law and accountability for a state capture and corruption. The symbolic action follows Human Rights Day. It comes several days before the former President Jacob Zuma's contempt of court case relating to his defiance of a constitutional court order to accounts before the Zondo Commission. We're live now to Malungelo Boy, who's at Constitution Hill for us. Malungelo, good afternoon to you. What are people there saying about why they're arranging this event?
Hi there, Stephen. In fact, those people you spoke about have already started to form that human chain. Really part of it is what you've already alluded to. It's part of defending our democracy and also really calling for accountability in terms of state capture and corruption. And interestingly enough, though, this is actually happening at the doorsteps of the Constitutional Court, as you've rightfully pointed out, that the Constitutional Court last month, in fact, issued an order for former President Jacob Zuma to appear in the State Capture Commission of Inquiry to account. Well, the former president has so far not obliged to that order. Well, I do want to bring in Nishan Bolton he's the CEO of the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. So thank you so much for your time this afternoon. I do want, though, to start on the issue of corruption before we talk about, the state capture and people not appearing before the State Capture Commission. William Gumede in 2019 wrote that corruption should be declared a national emergency. I wonder then, is it a sentiment that you would concur with?
Very much so. In fact, when the Council of Churches and our delegation met with the President, that meeting concluded that corruption is one of the 5 pandemics facing this country, simply because the consequences of corruption has devastated governance, has devastated trust, and has devastated service delivery in this country. It has also impacted on state capacity. So corruption, I think, is at the heart of much of what ails and pains this country today.
Do we, as ordinary South Africans, do we understand the extent of the problem here?
I think we are only beginning to understand it with each revelation that comes out from the Zondo Commission. But I think all South Africans today can see the effects of it from the very local to the very national level. There is no sphere of government that has become immune to the pervasiveness of corruption and to the effects. Whether it's a local level, whether it's parks and libraries, whether it's PPE equipment from the Department of Health, whether it's even Madiba's funeral. There is no area of life from within governance, and I would say within the private sector, that has been ring-fenced or is immune from the effects of corruption today.
There's also been this argument amongst us as South Africans that we're not seeing law enforcement officials moving fast enough in tackling the issue of corruption, and even government for that matter.
Well, I think we must always bear in mind that the law enforcement agencies were the first to be targeted by the State Capture Project, very deliberately to weaken that capacity so that the state itself wouldn't have the ability to do what was needed to do to stem this problem. The process of rebuilding that capacity is taking longer than expected, but I think there have been positive signals. We do share the call by many South Africans that in support of the call made by Archbishop Makgoba, that we do want to see people behind orange overalls after having completed the due processes as a matter of urgency.
Former President Jacob Zuma has refused to appear before the State Capture Commission, even when this particular court has issued that order. What do you make of that?
I think it's wrong for somebody who established this commission into law, who called on South Africans to support it, and today to want to distance himself from something that he himself created. I think it would have been very good for him to show the kind of leadership and accountability that this requires, and to have gone through the processes which he championed as a president.
But what should be done about him refusing to actually go to that commission?
The law must take its course. The Zondo Commission has already called for a 2-year minimum sentence that it would be arguing for. And we hope, and I'm sure that the Constitutional Court will deliberate on this and find the appropriate sentence if they find him guilty.
All right, thank you so much for your time. That's Nisham Bolton. He is the CEO of the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. Stephen, I have also seen the representatives from the South African Council of Churches. If you remember, Stephen, they last month also issued a scathing statement, against former President Jacob Zuma for his refusal to appear before the State Capture Commission. And I've also seen the South African Communist Party's Solima Baila. And interestingly, I've also spotted here Popo Molife. He's the man who's also been appearing in the State Capture Commission of Inquiry. Stephen.
Malangela Boy, thanks very much indeed. Do appreciate that. Okay, interesting developments there. We'll be speaking to some of the people as we go through the afternoon and as that event continues.